Hello and hello. Thank you for joining me today. How you guys doing? So I saw This Old House, which is a popular TV show here in the States. Home improvement show. It's really cool. I've actually learned a lot about, my house made out of twigs here in America. It's important to know how to fix your house when it's made out of twigs, guys. So this show has taught me a lot. And it's a very good show, so I'm very interested to see this, how a German home maximizes energy efficiency. Let's see. Hopefully they do it justice. And let's see. I'm very curious. Let's go.
All right, Kevin, so this is a typical German house. It's about 1,800 square feet. U.S. is going to be about 25 to 2,700 average.
Okay.
You can feel the scale being a little bit smaller, but it's got everything you need.
Almost a...
Man, 2,500, I must say, I guess that's the average, but to me, that's a pretty freaking big house. My house isn't that big. 2,500 square feet. Actually, my house is about 1,800 square feet, so I'm living in the average German house. Who knew?
25 to 2,700 average.
Okay.
You can feel the scale being a little bit smaller, but it's got everything you need.
Almost a third smaller.
Kitchen's right here.
Oh, wow. A small kitchen, right?
Yeah.
It's sort of an apartment kitchen almost.
This has got everything.
It is funny, though, because while the square footage of my house is apparently similar to this, the kitchen is much bigger. So, I don't know, I guess the German house prioritizes that space elsewhere, typically.
Everything
Is that the refrigerator? I almost can't even believe it. It's so narrow and hidden and tiny.
you need, a nice compact space. Here in the living room, you can see how a typical German house is heated. There's a boiler somewhere in the building that heats water, and then the water is delivered to either.
Look at that huge, freaking magnificent door. Oh my God, what a beaut. I have literally never seen a door that big.
Radiators like this or radiant floor heating.
Right, so different looking radiators.
Oh wow, I've never seen a radiator like that ever. I would have had no idea. It looks like one of those Tesla batteries on the wall. That's a radiator, huh? Okay.
Right, so different looking radiators than we're used to seeing.
Right.
Turned it up a little bit.
These radiators come in every size and shape. And water is really the ultimate transfer medium. If we heat water, we can now move it anywhere we want through the building. We can zone like crazy, and it's very comfortable delivering heat to a building.
So
Okay.
a lot
I guess that's how radiators work. I've never really thought about how why they use water and stuff like that. But that's actually quite interesting. You heat the water and move it to where you want to heat the room. I like it.
of projects that we work on, we do use radiators. But in general, the United States, don't we typically use forced hot air to heat the homes?
Right, I think that's a question of where we are. Germany is at a latitude which is north of almost anywhere in the United States, a little below Alaska, but in general, it's a northern climate. So it's principally heating.
Right.
The United States, we have a lot of
So it's more on the level of Canada.
places that need cooling predominantly. And so that
That actually, I don't know why I needed this man to say it that simply. I guess just simple brain up here, guys. What can I say? But when he says it like that, it's just like, oh, it puts it into perspective. Germany's kind of like Canada in climate, And so, Canada's pretty cold. Relative to the U.S., is pretty cold. So it's no wonder you don't have AC. Of course, that's all changing now thanks to, humans and stuff. CO2. Global warming. Have you ever heard of it? Despite Germany's best efforts, it has, If you guys didn't notice, it was really hot in Germany,
so it's
I'm sure you're learning that for the first time being German. You're learning that from me, someone in Indiana.
principally heating.
Right.
United States, we have a lot of places that need cooling predominantly, and so that drives the decision to use ducted systems for air conditioning. Once you have ducts for air conditioning, you can do heating as well, and it sort of becomes more convenient.
Got it.
And the numbers are really dramatic. 99% of the houses in Germany use radiators. 93% of the houses in the United States use forced hot air ducted systems.
Wow, what a huge difference.
It's crazy. So that's how they
And it is interesting because, I notice now that Germans are actually starting to talk about air conditioning after this massive heat wave, but they're all posting pictures of these air conditioning units in the window, which is uncommon here in the States. I guess that's kind of in some like apartment buildings, people have that. But you know, like when I think of air conditioning, it's not typically like a window unit. I'm looking at my window right now, imagining an air conditioner in it. But yeah, it's more so like a unit outside that then comes inside and goes through the ducts.
Heat the building, but also you got to think about trying to keep the heat that you make inside the building. This is a typical German house, but there's glass. Now, glass is usually a huge liability. Look at the difference here.
A huge liability because this is a great place to
Look at this door.
lose the heat.
Is this actually normal in Germany?
That's
Glass.
right. So feel this. This thing, it's heavy. It's triple pane glass, triple. Okay, and it closes tight as anything.
Yep, and very smooth operation right here.
And if that's not enough,
I can tell just looking at it, it's like it was gliding. You love to see that. As a homeowner, you love to see that type of thing. You know, it's like a dream. I wish my sliding door opened like that.
you can close that, and you can also do this.
Dude, this is beautiful.
These are roll shades. Now, roll shades can drop down, so now once they close, they can provide an air gap like a storm window in the winter.
So at night these would
That's just so gorgeous. I'm watching it again.
Now, these are roll shades. Now, roll shades can drop down, so now once they close, they can provide an air gap like a storm window in the winter.
so at night
An air gap like a storm window in the winter. Okay. I don't know what a storm window is,
these would come down to keep the
Absolutely.
heat in the house.
but I guess it helps insulation.
Absolutely. Now, you also can use them for solar gain in the summer so that it'll knock down the solar gain that comes in.
So when I see these back in the U.S., I typically think of them as storm shutters, but here it's about energy efficiency.
I've never seen that in the U.S.
Right, it's energy efficiency, but it's also a cultural difference. People like to close these at night to sort of keep their place private.
Okay.
And look at
German privacy, you gotta freaking love it, man. Especially in this day and age, you know, privacy is actually becoming a hot topic here in the States. It's quite interesting to me. It's always interesting to me how things that have always been around there, floating around in the ether, you know, like cameras, mass surveillance with cameras happening here and around the world, but like in the United States, it's a big problem right now. But it's like that's been happening and building up for a long time. But now that it's combined with AI, and so all those camera feeds can be, you know, kind of synthesized, all the data from it can be analyzed and synthesized, and you can, without even a human having to do any work, just use AI to track a person's movement throughout a huge region. Even potentially the entire country using just cameras and AI. It raises massive privacy concerns, and it actually is a huge topic right now here in the States. Anyway, it's one thing I've always just loved about German culture, the respect of privacy. The respect of privacy, man. It actually makes me sad. That's why I'm sitting here, like, thinking about it, you know. It makes me sad because it feels inevitable that we will lose the battle. That's the most pessimistic thing I've ever said, but, you know, that's just how I feel. Watching the trajectory of things over time, it seems to be that's the trajectory that things go on. People get outraged. Guess what? It's like chat control in the EU, you know. Not that it's passed, you know. Chat control is not passed in the EU, last I checked. But it seems like, you know, people get outraged, and then the people in charge just basically just delay it or ignore the outrage. And if you ignore it long enough, the people just, well, the people that are outraged eventually die. And you're left with only people that were born into this mass surveillance that don't know any different. And so over time, the outrage ends.
people like to close these at night to sort of keep
Anyway, back to German houses.
their place private.
Okay.
And look at this, Kevin. Here's the cross section of the outside of the house. You've got concrete blocks.
Jesus. That is a girthy cross section, man. Oh my gosh. That's another beautiful thing, I must say. As a homeowner, I'm jealous. I wish I opened my door and saw a cross section like that, especially with all the tornadoes. You know, the tornadoes are, it's sort of an interesting thing to think about how you should build a home in a tornado region, which is where I live. On one hand, it's like you'd think you'd build them really sturdy so that they withstand a tornado. On the other hand, it seems to be people just build them really not sturdy so that they're not investing too much in a house that could get blown over by a tornado.
Right here.
But that is a thing of beauty right there. My cross section on my house is probably half that width and not as solid. You know, it's mostly hollow, filled with insulation, but mostly air.
Here that's insulated, and then outboard of that, you've got an additional 5 inches of insulation.
That's wrapped all the way around the house?
That's right. They want to keep the heat inside the building that they paid for. So in a German house, it's really about the size of the building. It's about how you deliver heat to the building. It's keeping the heat that you've paid for inside the building. And finally, it's about its efficiency and maintaining that high efficiency over time. If I do a system in the United States, it can go in perfectly efficient, but if it's not maintained, it can drop off over time.
So if
It must be cool to be German and see like just a foreign TV show talking about what is so common in Germany, you know. To you guys, this is just common, everyday, regular, you know, stuff. And over here, it's on a TV show where it's like, look at this.
I don't change
And it's true. It's just, it's magnificent, really.
my filters, if I don't clean the furnace or the boiler, that efficiency goes down year after year.
Right. Well, German government does not want that to happen. So what they do is they send an inspector to every single house in
No.
every single town once a year.
I had no idea.
Really?
And that inspector is the chimney sweep.
And so what is he doing? Is he literally cleaning the chimneys?
He does an efficiency test and an emissions test. If it's not up to a certain standard, it gets...
How did I not know that? So you've got the TÜV for houses, guys. I'm writing that down. TÜV for houses. It's probably not that strict as the TÜV, but
turned off. It has to be repaired or replaced immediately. And look at the neighbor's house right here. You can see there's a ladder built right in to allow that chimney.
that's pretty freaking cool right there. Oh my God. For hanging Christmas lights, I would love that on my house. And I guess cleaning the chimney.
sweep to go up to the roof to check it and make sure everything's okay.
So built into the roof because
Very
they know he's
cool.
coming every year?
Every single year. Now, the other thing
Like Santa Claus.
that's different in Germany is a thing called the Energy Pass. It's really a report card on every single building in the country, a history of how much energy is used by that building. Now, you might not think it's important, but it will come into play if you ever sell the building or if you're trying to rent an apartment. It would index.
I would love that for when I'm buying a house. That is a massive question mark, that you have. You can ask the seller to, supply their energy bills. Most people don't do that. But for the most part, you're going in blind. I've never requested that, and I've never had someone request that of me. But it's just a question of, oh boy, I'm moving, and that is just, it's a big expense. Energy expense, utilities expense in general. The natural gas, the electric. I have an idea how much a house like this might cost, but I don't know how well it's insulated. So that might be a real shock to you when that first energy bill comes in your new house. And you really don't know what you're in for.
What you'd pay for rent or what you...
So to have that on the building, great as a buyer.
If you ever sell the building or if you're trying to rent an apartment, it would index what you'd pay for rent or what you might get for the building when you sell it.
So the value of my house can be determined in part by how efficient it is.
That's right. And what it does, it really invites people to
It's not even a factor here in the States, really.
invest in their building to make it more energy efficient.
So it is really a cultural thing.
That makes sense too. It's an incentive.
It's a mindset.
It's a mindset. It's true. That was a really great, succinct video, wasn't it? I feel like they did quite well there. Not that I'm German, but I feel like, I've seen this subject talked about before, and I feel like they did just a very good job explaining some aspects of it I didn't know and showcasing, well, even this. Look at this. You can see on YouTube, you can see where people rewatched. Like how much people said, what the... and they rewatched this part like 10 times. You can see that big hump there. That's what that is.
That's not enough. You can close that, and you can also do this. Now these are roll shades. Now roll shades can drop down, so now once they close,
I wish you put it all the way down. All right. Great video. Awesome subject. Beautiful houses. All right. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.